Alright, welcome back to the channel and to another whiskey video. Let me do an introduction real quick just so you can understand what does YouTube certified mean. And it's actually a joke because like many millions of people, whenever they have to do something and they don't quite know how to do it, they come to YouTube to learn how to do it. So basically the DIYers of the world come to YouTube to learn how to do something. So many years ago, somebody created this patch, the YouTube certified master automobile technician, and this comes from a legit ASE patch, which is a course that a mechanic has to take, and it has different levels. So if you take all of that and you pass all the tests, you become a master automobile technician. And I think there's another level, but like many people, they come to YouTube to learn how to do everything and work on their cars, right? So it goes by state. I'm in the state of New Jersey. In New Jersey, you do not have to go to school to work as a mechanic. Mechanic technician, basically the same thing. If you ask a mechanic, they probably say that a mechanic is the guy that gets the hands dirty, right? But that's another subject. That's where this comes to play, the master whiskey sommelier. There is no law that says that you have to go to school and become a sommelier to work as a sommelier. So I created this, the YouTube certified master whiskey sommelier, which means that all of you that come to YouTube to learn about whiskey are master whiskey sommelier, because you just learn what you need to know from that video and then you move on. With that said, let's get on with the video. All right, let's continue with the video. Today I'm going to talk about black whiskey, the bourbon from Peru. If you saw the thumbnail or the title, this whiskey is distilled and bottled in Peru. And if you left a comment saying that bourbon can only be made in the United States, thank you for leaving a comment. And bourbon, just a word, and the process can be made in the United States. The way bourbon is made can be replicated anywhere else. It just can't be called a bourbon like this. See, it doesn't say bourbon anywhere, but it's made the same way. Now, I'm going to give you some information that I've gathered from another video of Michael Kurilla, which is the owner. He did an interview on another channel. I'll put the link to that channel up here, and I'll also leave a link to their website, their Instagram, and their YouTube channel. There's more information there. So on that video, he talks about the mash bill. They use about 60% black corn, which is only grown the Andean mountains, right? They use 30% Peruvian wheat, and then they import from the United States about 10% of malted barley and malted wheat together to help with the fermentation. They import American oak barrels. They are charged to a number 3, so they use number 3 char, which is heavily burned. They use 10 to 25 gallons, and the typical, I think it's 53 gallon barrels. They use smaller barrels to get the color quicker. They buy the barrels from a company called Kelvin Cooperage and Black Swan Cooperage, which provides some honeycomb barrels. The whiskey is aged between 2 and 3 years, distilled at no more than 160 proof, and it goes into the barrel at no more than 120 proof. On that video, he mentions the town or the place where they started up in the mountains, but it was a 12-hour drive to the capital, which is Lima. The names are kind of difficult for me to grab, so I really don't know the town where they started with. And they used to use the water from the mountains, right? But when they moved down to the capital, Lima, Peru, they did a water well, and they filtered that water so it's clean. And of course, 12-hour drive, now it's eliminated, which makes shipping and logistics a lot easier. There is no color added. It's not chill filtered. And according to that video, it's first distilled in a pot still. I think it's 6,000 liters, if I'm not mistaken. And then the second distillation is done in a hybrid pot still. They do not use a sour mash. They use what he calls a sweet mash. So now let's take a look at the bottle. I think this bottle is gorgeous. It looks like a decanter. You can see this is not a sticker. It does not have a sticker on the back also. It's called Don Michael Andean Distillery. Here, you could pause it if you want to read it. blackwhiskey.com. Got my fingerprints all over the place. Andean black corn whiskey, 45% alcohol by volume, distilled by Don Michael. Look at the cork. The cork is synthetic. Look at this. It's raised. The design is raised, so it's not a sticker. And it does a very nice pop. Now I like to use this glass, which is a Tuath. It's actually made for Irish, but it works good with higher proof whiskey. Here's the color. Very dark. You probably get the color, like I mentioned before, from the small barrels. So this whiskey is not gonna knock your socks off, but I still recommend it because it's the only one made out of black corn, so it's something special. Now on the nose, I get floral notes, rosemary, eucalyptus. If you ever go to a lumber yard and they have eucalyptus, there's different type of eucalyptus, but there's one that's kind of pink. The lumber is kind of pink. This has a hint of that. It almost smells like a cologne. If they're able to make a cologne with that smell, I would buy it. If you add a drop of water You get some bananas. If you add ice, if you get a rock glass and you add ice, you get like a minty smell. On the taste, you get mint with a hint of butterscotch. If you add water, you start getting bananas and leather. The finish is like a rosemary tea. Not very complicated. Overall, I think it's a nice whiskey. Not expensive. And it's actually pleasant to drink. It's not harsh. You don't feel like it's trying to kill you. And they don't promote it to be drank like this neat. Most of the pictures they have, it's with ice or in a cocktail. I don't really do cocktails. I have rather do it like this or with ice. And with ice, it still tastes very nice. So I'll leave you all those links. I was able to get it from their the only place I think they're selling it right now, it's down in Miami, Florida. I don't know if you could, depending on the state you are, I don't know if you can get alcohol shipped to you. Either way, I'll leave you a link. Thank you for watching. Black whiskey from Peru. Just call it bourbon from Peru. Probably pissed off some people. Thank you for watching. Peace out.